So you're the ritual director?
So your intent is to wear
I wear a talit. Yeah, no, I come from conservative Vermont background. So. No, not at all. Not at all. They rejected me. No, I'm kidding. No. Are you from, where did you grow up? Whoa, okay. I detected a slight something. I could not. I said, maybe it's New England. You know? It is New England. Great. Terrific. So I'm not sure where I'm going to sit.
I don't think you're going to sit up here.
Oh,
It depends on the
he asked you if I would sit.
whatever.
No, I understand. It's a beautiful show.
This over
So
here
where
for
do
the
you,
time being.
wherever you want me.
Let me invite you to come sit right here. Would that be okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Bravo. Susan, mic test 1, 2, 3. Okay. Very good. Susan, I would like to.
Je voudrais vous...
This is an extra one. That's my reserve. I have to go back to my office for 1 second. Oh, here we go. Shabbat Shalom. This is just a mic test on this side now. Good.
It's just looking for snacks for you.
I'm sorry?
Water and
I'll tell you what.
I see two
why don't
bottles up here.
Where? Oh, I see. Yes, I think that's for you. Yeah. Are we ready? Okay, wonderful. Shabbat Shalom. We'd like to welcome all of you today to Temple Torat Yisrael. My name is Rabbi David Barnett, and I'm honored to be serving here as the rabbi of this community. This is, I came here on an interim basis a year ago, so this is my last official day in this period of engagement with the congregation. So what a wonderful simcha and celebration it will be here today. And immediately behind me, I would like to welcome Rabbi David Schneier, who is from basically, what is the name of the county? Montgomery?
Montgomery County, Maryland.
Yes, Montgomery County in Maryland, and in the Rockville area? Yes, Rockville area, and it's served many, many congregations through the years. And there is a family connection because legend tells us that Rabbi Schneier was Dana's rabbi as she grew up, and has wonderful and very fond memories of him. And so it's so nice and such a special honor to have this kind of continuity of rabbinical presence. And I always talk about that with congregations when that's possible. So it's so special that you were able to be here as our honored rabbi and guest here today, Rabbi Schneier. And we're looking forward to your participation with Milo. He's got his guitar here, and so that's great. And there is that stand. Yes. No, I meant a guitar stand. That's okay. Yeah. And let's see here. How many have come from within the state of Rhode Island? Wonderful. How many have come from Jersey today? How many from Massachusetts? Hey, a lot of Massachusetts. Good. How many from somewhere else in New England? Vermont. Wow, wonderful. How many have come from somewhere south of New York? How many come from New York today? Anybody New Yorkers? Very good. South of New York. Good. How many are here? We've got a special treat coming up here in just a minute. I have a surprise that will be very unusual for you. How many come from somewhere Western United States? Anybody Western? Where? California. How many from California? Wonderful. How many from somewhere west other than California? Wow. Utah. Colorado. Wow. That's tremendous. And New Mexico. Wow. This wonderful. How many come from somewhere else, some other region in the United States that we have not mentioned yet? Well, we want to welcome all of you, and we also have an international presence. But I think they might have been here living, because your English is so good, living in the United States for quite maybe some time. Nonetheless, we're going to have the international flair by welcoming Madame et Monsieur Lison Jean-Pierre Bitoun and their son Olivier, who are representing the country of France. They are les émissaires, ambassadeurs de la France, emissaries and ambassadors from the country of France. So that's the first time I've been able to really welcome people from France here, I think, this year. So that's tremendous, and we're delighted to have you. We have some from Germany? Really? Where? Okay, from Germany. What part? Oh, how cute. What part of Germany? Southwest. Wow. What's the city? Stuttgart. Of course, very, very similar. Yes. So I remember from Cabaret, Welcome, Bienvenue, Welcome, right? So it's really nice to have you here. That's great. And as you know, German, of course, which you grew up speaking, is very, in the 13, you may not know this, around the 1300s, there was a division in the German language and development. And around the 1300s, according to the expert that I learned from in this, basically there was a division in the German language. One part went to a Judaic variant, which we called Yiddish, and another went then to the German, which was at that time referred to, which I'm sure you've heard too, the term Mittelhochdeutsch. So you're really connected with us in many ways, and welcome. That's tremendous. So at this time, we are going to begin our services here. And you have the booklets that Dana so lovingly and artistically put together. And so we will be basically going in sequence with these booklets here. And so first, you know, by the way, I think all of you know, but the beautiful logo on picture on the front cover is from the Chagall stained glass windows. And you can find, for your viewing pleasure, you can find the complete, authentic collection of them in Jerusalem. So all you have to do is just take a little plane ride. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. This is the tribe of Levi. And if you look closely, those of you who understand a little Hebrew, you see the Lamed and the Vav and then the Yud. Very artistically sort of hidden in there, very artistically written in there. And that's the tribe of Levi. That's correct. And so you have motifs here of the things that the Levites would do, assisting in the rites of the sanctuary. So that's very, very special. So as we begin our service here, we are going to call upon Milo and Rabbi Schneier to begin certain parts of our service here. The first is on the first page, page 2, where we begin liturgically here. And this is going to be Modeh, and then the song Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens that Rabbi Schneier will share. Sure.
I don't want to poke you in so many places. Okay, one sec. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. The top of page 2, Modeh Ani, offering gratitude for life. has broken like the first morning. A bird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wind, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning of the one light Eden sunlight. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the King has broken like the first morning. My bird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Matovu Allah. On page 3, how good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. This verse from the Sedra that we are reading also in the Jewish world this week and next week. Matovu Alecha Yaakov Mishkatecha Yisrael. Matovu Alecha Yaakov Mishkatecha Psalm 150, page 4. Probably the song of the Musicians Guild in ancient times. Hallelujah.
wonderful. Well, Rabbi Schneer certainly brings wonderful spirit, ruach. And being a guitarist myself, wonderful guitar strumming technique. I come from the classical background more, as David Wasser over here knows. So it's wonderful to have the excellent rhythm and strumming there. And I see you've got the 12-string guitar, which gives it that extra reverb.
12 tribes.
12 tribes. Yes, the 12 tribes of Israel. That's the way to go. So we have done some wonderful things here. We did we did just the Matovu and the Hallelujah. And now we're moving on to continuing here on page 4. And at this time, we'd like to call upon Ruth Tillman, Milo's grandmother, to come. Did I pronounce the name right? Tillman? Yes, okay, great. Ruth, here, we'd like to invite you to do the reading. I think it's halfway down. Yes. Oh, she's brought her own copy? That's so prepared.
Well,
wonderful. Okay, good.
Halfway Down by A.A. Milne. Halfway down the stairs is a stair where I sit. There isn't any other stair quite like it. I'm not at the bottom. I'm not at the top. So this is the stair where I always stop. Halfway up the stairs isn't up, and it isn't down. It isn't in the nursery, and it isn't in the town. And all sorts of funny thoughts run round my head. It isn't really anywhere. It's somewhere else instead.
Thank you so much there, Ruth. We appreciate that. That's just great. And now we're going to move on here. And this is a very special moment here because we would like to call upon Anya Guyer, your aunt, to make the Talit presentation for you prior to the Baruch Hu. And so we'll let Anya come right here and do that. And I'll give just a tiny intro. So the Talit is the prayer shawl. For those of you who may not come from the Jewish tradition, the prayer shawl. And on the end of it are these little knotty things. And they're tied in very special ways. They're tied in very, very special prescribed ways. And the concept is that certain prayers, particularly the Shema, when we pronounce the unity of God, what we do is we take the Talit, the four corners of the Talit, and these are called the tzitzit. These strands are called the tzitzit, and we kiss them. So technically here, upon the age of attaining the age of bar mitzvah, as a young adult now, Milo will have the privilege and the honor and also the attendant responsibilities, we'll talk about that later, basically of young manhood and therefore the ritual obligations that come with that. Oh, did you want to say anything to him?
Just say it's been such a joy and an honor to watch you grow up so far. I got this tallis for my bat mitzvah, and so you can have this one for the rest of your life. And I always kind of think of it like a hug. Every time you put it on, of all the people who are here who love you, every time you put it on, you can think about that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hitatev atzitzit.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good. Thank you so much there, Anya. That was just beautiful. And you said the blessing very nicely. And now we're going to continue on page 6. On page 6, where we have the Chetzi Kaddish that Milo is going to chant for us. So this will be on page 6 here. Do you want to use this copy or this one? Okay, that's right. Okay, let's put it up here like that. Okay, great. And then we go into the Baruch Hu after that. Okay, great. Solo, or do you need help?
Solo.
Okay, good.
Yikadav v'ikadash shemei rabba
Amen.
b'yama divra kirtei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho be'Yisrael b'gala V'yitabach, v'yipar, v'yitroman, v'yinaseh, v'yihadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha brichu, leila minko birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran boma, v'meru, amen.
Excellent, very good. And now we're going to invite everyone here to please rise. On page 7, we have the Baruch Hu that Milo will be leading us in here. You can just hold up this sheet, as a matter of fact. Very good.
Baruch et Adonai Hamburah.
Baruch
Adonai Hamburah, le'olam va'ed.
Very nice. Please be seated. And now we're going to continue here with the central declaration that we referred to earlier of our belief in one God. We call it the prayer called the Shema. And you're going to do it in English too, right? Who's doing it in English? Oh, I see. Okay. Very good. So Milo will lead us here in Hebrew for the Shema, the Baruch Shem Kavod, we say silently, and then followed by the Ve'ahavta. And then, as a matter of fact, let's get them up here right now. We have the cousin, Sarah Norwick and Diego, cousins, to come up here. So let's call them up here now. And, okay, is Sarah with you or just... Oh, I see. Okay, very good. Okay, great. So you can stand right here. What he's going to do is he's going to do it in the Hebrew first, and then you'll come in with this English reading. All right. Okay, great.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzabecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha uchtatam al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot beinenecha uchtatam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha.
So you shall love what is holy with all your courage, with all your passion, with all your strength. Let the words that have come down shine in our words and in our actions. We must teach our children to know and understand them. We must speak about what is good and holy within our homes. When we are working, when we are at play, when we lie down, and when we get up. Let the work of our hands speak of goodness. Let it run in our blood and glow down from our doors and windows. We should love ourselves, for we are of God. We should love our neighbors as ourselves. We should love the stranger, for we were once strangers in the land of Egypt, and have been strangers in the lands of the world since. Let love fill our hearts with its clear, precious water, and heaven and earth observe how we cherish or spoil our world. Heaven and earth watch whether we choose life or choose death. We must choose life so our children's children may live. Be quiet and listen to the still, small voice that speaks in love. Open to that voice, hear it, heed it, and work for life. Let us remember and strive to be good. Let us remember to find what is holy within and without.
Thank you very much, Diego. Appreciate that. Okay, wonderful here. And now we're going to continue on page 9 with Milo and I believe Rabbi Schneier, because he's got his guitar there, so that's good, for the Michamocha. And then we will have some other readings too. Yes, okay, good.
Michamocha
Okay, at this time we'd like to call upon Mel Osborne and Mary Thome, grandparents, to come forward here and share a reading. And on deck, let's bring up Emil and Bianca Yorandi. Thank you so much. Yes. Emil and Bianca Yorandi. And we'll have you sit on the left-hand side at the moment there. Oh, okay. From Germany. Good. Yes, right over there. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you. Sure.
This is a prayer for the world by Harold Kushner, particularly relevant in these days, I might add. Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt. Let the sun shine out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness so that we can share the joys and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we will see all people as neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty. And let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward toward heaven.
And now we'll call upon Emil and Bianca Yorandi, aunt and uncle. Great. You can pick her up if you want so you can see her, but she's not too heavy at this point.
The summer day.
Who made the world?
Who made the swan and the black bear?
Who made the grasshopper?
This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass.
The one who is eating sugar out of my hand.
Who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down.
Who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes.
Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face.
Now she snaps her wings open and floats away.
I don't know exactly what a prayer is.
I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down into the grass.
How to be idle and blessed. How to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day.
Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon?
Tell me, what is your plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Wonderful. Okay. Well, we thank them very, very much for that. And then we're going to continue now on page 10. So you can read it from this one if you want. On page, pardon me? Yes, but we're going to be facing the ark just a little bit. So on page 10, we have what we call the Amidah. Amidah comes from the word la'amod, to stand. And the verb to stand. And so this is what we call our standing prayer. And it's in this prayer that we have basically a conversation with God. We have certain parts of it that are traditional. First, we recognize in the first 3 paragraphs here, we recognize our ancestors, our matriarchs and patriarchs. Then we talk on the second paragraph about the greatness of God. And then we have a sanctification in the third paragraph called the Kedusha, which then I will be doing here with Milo here today. And so this is what we have in our prayer books here, continuing through page 12 and the top of 13 there. We have some creative versions of the Amidah that you may love to do. And in addition to that, or in substitution for that, if anyone wants the more traditional version, it is found here in the Red Prayer Book, page 162 to 166. So we'll do the format here where we will do these first three paragraphs together, and then we will give you a few moments for the individual silent prayer. So at this point here, you can begin on page 10. Please rise. Big breath. Diaphragm. Go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Asadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zoher Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel Ivnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Uvoked Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Uvoked Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatav. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Zomech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekiyayim Emunatov, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memi, Umachayeh, Umasmiya Yeshua, V'ne'eman Ataleh HaChayot Meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Machayeh HaMeitim.
Amen. We continue then on page 11. Nekedesh Shimcha ba'olam, Kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv al yad nebiyecha, v'kara zeh el zeh v'yamar tiptos, Kadosh, 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 Adonai tzvaot, melech kol haaretz kevodo. אז בקורש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנסים לעומת שרפים, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ממקומך מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב ימינו לעולם ועד תשכון, תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים, עירך לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראינה מלכותך כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך. על ידי דוד משיח צדקך, למלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. Everyone. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, כי אל מלך גדול, וקדוש אתה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך הוא וברוך שמו, האל, האל, הקדוש. Amen. We continue now with our silent prayer. Wonderful. Now I've got a real pleasure. We're going to call up, to conclude our Amidah here, we're going to call up not only Milo, but also his very special younger sister. And he's got two younger sisters. He's very lucky. You have girls in your family. I was all boys. So you're very, very lucky. You have two wonderful sisters, Ramona and Matilda. But for this one, we're going to call up Ramona. And I've been watching Ramona down here. She's been doing the prayers silently also, right with you. She's been following you every step along the way. So that's great. And Rabbi Schneier will also, I think, be accompanying you. That's great. Yes, wonderful. So let you stand up there, and it's right this top will say shalom.
Oh, say shalom bimroma. Booyah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom aleinu, Yahweh Yisrael, say
It's a wonderful way to end the Amidah. And if you notice the translation, may he who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and to all who dwell on earth. And we say, Amen. And now we have a very special part here that Milo is going to be continuing with. And I would like to place this in a context for those perhaps not too familiar with the Jewish tradition, and even for some of those who are familiar. They may not know some of these details. And that is that this is a prayer, what we call the Kaddish. This is the reader's Kaddish. And the Kaddish comes from the word, as I said earlier, meaning to sanctify. And this is a formal praise of God. And even though it may sound like Hebrew, and the letters are, it is translated, I notice I'm going to use the word transliterated into the Hebrew letters, but it's really in a different language that we've talked about before. You can tell them what it is.
It's in Aramaic.
That's exactly correct. It's in Aramaic. And Aramaic is a sister cognate language to Hebrew, and it was spoken as really what they called at that time, the lingua franca, to use a Latin term, basically the common language. The lingua franca literally means the French tongue, the French language, because at one time French was spoken all over the world. But even before that, you had in this area of what was Palestine at that time, you had Aramaic spoken. And this is the language that is used in the commentary after the first level of Jewish law, following the codification of the Bible, which remember we call the Mishnah, right? So after that, you have the Gemara, which is written in Aramaic. And this is a formal praise of God. At the end of the service, it appears the same words, and we cut a few verses off. And those who have had a loss or are commemorating the anniversary of a passing of a loved one, they say the same words, again, relating to that concept of sanctifying God's name. When we remember, has a special, different meaning then when we recall those who are no longer with us. But at this point, it really serves liturgically, that means in our service here, to really divide one part of the service from another. So we call this the Reader's Kaddish, the complete Kaddish. This is the full version. The full version here, and we'll call upon you, Milo, to lead us in that. Actually, he's going to do it solo.
Yikado v'yikada shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Yama divra kirte v'yamlich malchute b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayedecho be'Yisrael v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei omaya yitbarach Yibrach v'ishtabach v'ipa'ar v'itroman v'naseh v'itadar v'itale v'italo shmei dekudesha brichu leila mincho birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Tikabot salotonu v'oton decho Yisrael kodam avuchon devishmaya v'imru amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'echo Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'echo Yisrael v'imru amen.
Wonderful. Have a seat for just a second there. And that was just excellent there, Milo. I know everyone is so proud of you here today, and the best is yet to come, coming up here, because soon we're going to have a moment of bar mitzvah. Are you getting ready? Yep, he's getting ready. Very good. Okay. And at this time, we're going to have some logistics that we're going to talk about here. And soon we are going to be taking out the Torah scroll, which is in essence really the repository of everything in our tradition that's precious and meaningful. It's for those of the scroll that you will see, we'll have it's written in Hebrew, the first 5 books of the Bible, beginning with the book of Genesis. And so to open the ark for us, to come up here and sort of be ready for that, we'd like to call upon John Cohen. Is that correct? John? Yes, John Cohen and Ann Kornblut. And so we'll have you come up here. And then at this time, we will continue on page 14. So right now, you can position yourselves one on one side and one on the other of the ark. And I'll give you the cue when to open it, okay? And at this time, we're going to call upon Milo to come forward here and chant for us the verses that begin here with, on page 14, the Ein Kamocha. And if anyone is following in the other prayer book here, that's going to be page around 168. Okay, so at this time, we'll have you begin Ein Kamocha. At this time, you'll face the congregation.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai v'ein kama'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemsholtecha b'chol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom Avarachamim Heitiva virtzoncha et Zion Tivnei Chomo Yerushalayim Tivnei Chomo Yerushalayim Kivecha Lavad Batachnu Melech Elam Venisa Adon Olamim.
Okay, and at this time, we'll call upon the ark to be opened then. And as I explained to you, you're going to have to hold it there. You have to hold it open because otherwise it's going to flip back out. So sort of fold it in and then hold it. And then Milo's going to continue here. You have your book right there? Okay, great. So we are on page 14. Vayihi ben Soah.
Vayihi ben Soah Haron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Ve'achusu oivecha, Ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha, Ki misyon tetzei Torah, Ki misyon tetzei Torah,
Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan
Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Le'mo Yisrael, V'Yerushalayim.
And in the middle there, on the left-hand side of page 14, at the bottom, where it says the paragraph, "It is in God that I put my trust." We're going to read that together, and let's change the singular to the plural. Together, "It is in God that we put our trust, and it is to your holy and precious name that we utter praise. May it be your will that you open our hearts to your Torah, and that you fulfill the desires of our hearts and the hearts of all your people Israel, for goodness, for life, and for peace. Amen." And also in Aramaic here, Be'anarachetz. Be'anarachetz, Velishme Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anna Martush Bechan, Be'anarachetz, Be'anarachetz, Velishme Kadisha, go ahead. Kadisha Yakira, Anna Martush Bechan, Yeravaka דתיפתח ליבי באורייתא ותשלים משאלים דליבי וליבד לכל עמך ישראל לטוב ולחיים ולשלום. Amen. And now you're going to be witness to some very special, meaningful choreography, I'm going to call it here. So for these special moments, we are going to have the passing down of the tradition. We'd like to call upon Mark and Ruth Guyer, Milo's grandparents, to come up along with Dana. And Carlos, you can come and accompany Dana, stand behind her there. And we'll have you come right over here, just like we practiced and stated it out. And excuse me, I'm going to come right over here. And first, I'd like to ask, let's see, can you put this on the two holders there on top there? We're going to make this a little bit carry friendly, we're calling it. This can go on one of the chairs that bring up. Yeah, let's go on the chairs there. And we're going to, so that no one gets hurt, we're going to put the pointer right over here. See, we have doctors and people in the medical field, so we have to think of safety here. Okay. So, just one second. So, this is, as I mentioned earlier, our Torah. It's sacred to us. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Milo be very careful as he's going to walk it around, because if it's dropped, tradition says you have to fast for 40 days. For 40 days. Now, I don't know if that means 40 days and 40 nights, too. I don't know if you're allowed to, to have a little water or to have like a little, Arabic-style midnight, meals and whatnot, and then fast during the daytime. But it's pretty serious. Nonetheless, the principles, the values that really are behind the entire Judaic civilization are held in my arms right at this moment. So it's very, very special, because the Torah, Milo, symbolizes, as you know, not only the words that are written here, but the entirety of the Jewish tradition, which means not only all of the later commentaries refer to the Mishnah, the Gemara, and all later rabbinic commentaries, but indeed the entire wealth of culture that we pass on through our heritage. And it's going to end up, guess where? In your arms. So, it's a very special moment. And so what I'm going to do here is, we're just going to pass it, you'll take it from the bottom there, very good. And then we'll pass it here to Ruth. Good. Okay, good. Very good. And now to your mom. Great, very good. And then Milo, good. Hold it there, like we said. There we go. Supporting it to the bottom. Good. Okay, and this time, Milo, we're going to have you turn around like this. And we're going to have Dana hold the prayer book up there for you. Good. And we'll continue then with the declaration right at this moment of sacredness. When we have the Torah scroll, this is the time that then Milo reiterates and reaffirms our belief in one God. So we'll have you hold it high, eye level. There we go.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadu Adonenu, Gadu Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. And now you'll turn and face the ark. Gadu. Now we'll hold off for just a second, give a few instructions. So you'll close this side first. You'll need to lift that side up after you close that. We'll have you face the congregation. Now, This is called our processional. We are also going to have a recessional. So let me just give just a little word of instruction here. It is customary. You'll remain standing. And I'm going to borrow the siddur back from Dana here. And in order to give everyone, it's customary if you are a man or a woman, if you're wearing a talit, it's customary to take the tzitzit, reach out, touch it to the Torah, and then kiss it as a gesture of respect. If you don't have the tzitzit, you can simply take your booklet here and reach out and touch it. So you don't touch it directly generally. You just sort of reach this out and touch the Torah and then give it a kiss if you choose to do so. And for the processional, we're going to have Milo go down the right-hand side and then circle around this side. And the right-hand side only. The left-hand side, you are not going to be deprived. At the conclusion of our service, we're going to go the opposite way. So in order to make this efficient, otherwise we'd be here till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have wonderful food and catering there, so we would not want that to spoil. Okay, so at this point then, as he goes down, then you can all follow, except Rabbi Schneier, because he's going to be reading too. Excuse me, I want Rabbi Schneier to be in the procession as well, to be honored. Yes. So the order will be basically Milo, and then Dana, and then Rabbi Schneier, and then all of the grandparents as well. So we are going to continue now on page 171. If you have the Siddur, here we go with the processional. Again, circling to the right, Milo. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz lecha Adonai hamelacha v'amid naseh lechol rosh romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lahadom raglav kadosh hu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lahar kodesho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Now, this is a special moment. I'm going to improvise another little song here. Yisrael, 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 Torah ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah ora. I'm sorry, Torah ora. Have you got it? Hallelujah. Torah ora, hallelujah. Yisrael, ve'oraita chadahu. Yisrael, ve'oraita chadahu. Torah ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah ora, hallelujah. So you can be seated. I want to thank Angela, who was actually the provider of our cymbal here and our tambourine. And I almost called you and David up, but the timing, I just didn't want to throw things off too much. Thank you so much. So we are now going to proceed with the Torah service. And the Torah service has a certain order to it. We call upon certain people to read from the Torah and certain people to be honored for what we call an aliyah, going up to the Torah. And what that means is the word aliyah comes from the word alo, basically the root, really, ayin lamed he, meaning to go up or ascend. And you notice physically, we are just a couple steps higher here, so there is a physical elevation, but really the word aliyah refers to the spiritual elevation. The concept in the Jewish tradition is that when you have a reading from the Torah, when you come and participate in the service, that you become spiritually elevated in the process. And so we are going to be having some special participation here in this here today. And so what we're going to do first here, I think you've got the list, but do you have the Hebrew names also? Yes, you do. Okay, great. Okay, so at this point, really, I'm going to turn it over, and a small little change from what we rehearsed. We're going to have go back to the custom of the congregation. After the second aliyah, we're going to have a prayer for those who are ill in our congregation. And then we have, after the third aliyah, before the maftir, we have a little special other surprise. So the first aliyah will be, I'm going to let them go ahead and with Susan here. The person who is going to do the chanting now, Susan Smaller, is our ritual chair, and she is going to be doing what is called she is fulfilling the role of what we call the gabbai, and she is going to be then pronouncing certain prayers and blessings that are appropriate and traditional before the actual reading of the Torah itself. And so I'll let all of you take over at this point, and I believe Rabbi Schneier is going to be actually reading the first aliyah. Did you find it there?
Oh, yeah.
You found it already?
We got it.
Yes.
Want to give a little kiss over here?
Control. So at this point, I'm going to turn over the Torah service to the capable hands of those to stage left.
Thanks a lot.
Amen.
במקום כהן יעמוד שמואל משה בן ניצהו ובלה ותעמוד רבקה בת חנה וחונה ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו
ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam
va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
וישמע כנעני מלך ערד שבע נגד כי ישראל דרך אתרים וילחם בישראל ויש ממנו שבי וידור ישראל נדר לאדוני ויאמר תיתן את העם הזה בידי וחרמתי את עריהם וישמע אדוני בקול ישראל ויתן את הכנעני ויחם אתכם ואת עריהם ויקרא שם המקום חרמה.
Baruch atah Adonai. No.
That's it.
Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. 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 Hugs and kisses for each other. Hugs and you hug.
תעמוד חנה בת רבקה ושמואל משה, ותעמוד שושנה בת בתיה ומשה לעלייה שנייה.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
וייסעו מהור ההר דרך יום סוף לסבוב את ארץ אדום, ותגזר נפש העם בדרך, וידבר העם באלוהים ובמשה, למה העליתונו ממצרים למות במדבר, כי אין לחם ואין מים, ונפשנו קצה בלחם הקלוקל. וישלח אדוני בם עד הנחשים השרפים, ונפשו את העם, ויעמוד עם רב מישראל.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטל בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. At this time, you can have a seat. I know. Yes, afterwards. At this time, we're going to have a blessing, as we normally do, for those who are ill in our congregation. And some of you, this may be the first time you see something like this. So, first, it's traditional for those who have done reading. Sometimes you give them a congratulations. You say, yes, beautiful reading from Rabbi Schneer there, as well as Dana. Where'd Dana go? Right there. Yes, just beautiful reading for the Aliyot there. So here is a blessing for those who are ill in our congregation. And our custom is that we have a certain standard list that, when I could say standard, it's those on our regular prayer list here. And then we give those in the congregation here an opportunity to add other names if you would choose to do so. And I'll do one section at a time, and then we'll add those on the bima as well. So this is a formulation. I'll chant it both in Hebrew and in English. Pardon me? No, not for this one. At the end, he is. Misha berach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, veimotenu Sarah, Rivka, v'chavalea, ויברך יורפי את החולים, כולם שמזכירים את שמותיהם היום, וכולם שאינם מזכירים, כולם כלולים בברכה. במיוחד אנחנו אומרים את שמותיהם של האנשים האלה. What that part meant is, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our matriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring those and bring blessing and healing to all of those that we will specifically mention today and those that we may not mention. Together they will be collectively blessed in our hearts. And first we would like to mention the specific names then of Moshe ben Dit ben Tova Gitel, Yosef Avram ben Chaim Yaakov, Erwin Sonny Silver, Chanachaya bat Hene, Furman Tzivya bat Malka, Yosef ben Sarah, Rachel bat Reisel, Eliav Chaim ben Chaya Rosa, Sophia Tankover, Shulamit bat Sarah, Avram David ben Zloti, Esther bat David ve Goldi, Mordechai ben Hava, Emily Klampkin, Brock Nowicki, and Liba Malcha Bat Tova. And so what we're going to do here, first we'll next start with this side of the room. I'm going to work from the back, in each case, respectively, the back forward. So if you'd like to you have a name, please raise your hand. Say it as loudly as you can. I will not be repeating the names. Yes, Steve? Thank you. Thank you. Coming forward? Good. And just so everyone can hear, actually, it is customary, so as you say the name, to please sort of rise a little bit, just like you did. Let's go forward here. Anyone else on this side? Coming forward? Yes. Jessica Roy. Thank you. Okay, coming forward here? Yes. Steve Clark. Thank you. Okay, anyone else on this side? Okay, let's go to the back of the other side. Any names to add? I'm going forward here. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, we're coming to very close here. We're coming to Dana now. Okay, thank you. Anyone over here? Okay. Let's go to, yes, on this side over here. Candace Wood. Thank you so much. And let's go to the Bima. Anyone on the Bima to add? Okay. Well, you have the same one? Okay, great.
Michelle Hammerschmidt, Dali Michal Bat Shoshana.
Okay. Anyone here? Okay. Yes. Okay, good. And then, Dvara Sara bat Yosefina ve'et Zion ben Zion. Any others going once? Going twice? Okay. I'm going to continue with the blessing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleim Lazikam Le'ovotam V'Yishlach Lehem Mehra Refuah Shlema Min HaShemayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Sha'ar HaCholim V'chazek Et Yidei HaOskim B'tzarcheihem Shabbati Militzok U'Refuah Krava Levoah Shta Bagala B'Zman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and vigor, granting them spiritual and physical well-being, together with all others who are ill. And may God grant strength to those who tend to them. Though Shabbat is a time to refrain from crying out, we hope and pray nonetheless that healing is at hand, and we can say, Amen. Okay, so at this time, we're going to continue then with the third aliyah. Excuse me. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Good. And there is a conclusion to this prayer that is found in your booklets here. Let me see some pages were taken from here. I don't know what happened. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. I just put these just a second. Momentito. Thank you. So we are on page 20 then. I'll let you go ahead and do Okay, actually, Milo, at this point, you're going to actually make the progression, the migration over to the other side, as we are going to have the third aliyah, which actually Milo is going to be reading. However, I'm going to point out, this is just this is an extra supplementary reading that he has chosen. Normally, sometimes the bar or bat mitzvah only reads maybe 3 verses. But Milo has taken upon himself to do the extra mitzvah of reading another aliyah. So this will be Numbers chapter 21, verse 7, and it begins on page 18 in your booklets there, page 18. And on this page, we have both, you see the Hebrew text on top, and then the reading on the bottom. But the actual bar mitzvah reading, the portion, which you call the maftir, will be taking place later on here, after we do a few other prayers and things.
Blessed is the source of life, who has brought me into loving relationship with the Jewish people in Torah. Blessed is the source of the Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayavo ha'am Moshe vayomru chatanu ki dibarnu v'Adonai vavach yitpalel Adonai v'yaser me'aleinu el hanachash v'yitpalel Moshe ba'ad ha'am vayomer Adonai el Moshe aseh lecha saraf v'sim oto al nes v'haya kohan hashuch v'ra'a oto v'achai v'yas Moshe nechash nechoshet v'simehu al hanes v'haya im nashach hanachash et ish v'hibit el hanachash hanachoshet v'chai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And we're going to ask that they...
Bless us as one, source of life, by the light of your presence and your teaching.
Oh, thank you. So we're going to ask that the... Andy, if you can find the Torah cover, I'll have you cover the Torah for just a moment. Oh, okay. So, Milo, we're going to have a seat.
You know where it is? He's not starting there. He's starting somewhere else. Okay, just leave that. Now you need to go sit down so the rabbi can pull you up.
So at this time, we have a special insert into our service here, a special insert for blessing. Traditionally, it's really the community, of course. Milo, you are the chief star here today. The focus is certainly on you as the central point. But a central point means nothing if you have nothing around it. And the idea of having things around it is the community at large. And so what we're going to do when other people have a simcha or something to add, it does not detract. The concept in the Jewish, it's very important to understand that in the Jewish outlook, the addition of another simcha or moment of celebration does not detract from anything in your service. It actually enhances it and makes the joy even more complete. And so today we have the 50th wedding anniversary of Alan and Sheila Kaplan. I saw them earlier. They were sitting over there. Alan and Sheila, raise your hands there a little bit. There we go. They're right there. And yes, so we are going to have a special blessing for you now to celebrate that. And So we will have that blessing and improvise right now. Mishiberach Avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka v'Leah Yivarech et hazug hamiuchad Avram David ben Chaim Gadol v'Zlota v'et Kalato Sheina bat Moshe v'Irina Babur shalu hayom levet knesset ולמקום הקדוש בני המתושף בינינו הקדוש ברוך הוא ילמלא שמחה עליהם ותיתן להם ברכות גדולות ברכות של עושר וכבוד וכל מיני הצלחה רבה, פרנסה טובה, וכל מיני דברים טובים, וכל הברכות הטובות, והצלחה בכל מיני שדיהם, ונאמר אמן. So, roughly translated, that is, may he who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and joy to our anniversary couple, Alan Kaplan, Avram David ben Chaim Gadol V'Zlota, and his bride, Sheila Kaplan, Shena bat Moshe Irina. May they have all types of blessing, uvriyut, with health and with happiness and success in all of their endeavors. And we can say, Amen. And I'm going to borrow our tambourine here again. And please join me in Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov. Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov U'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov U'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov U'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Yehelanu Yehelanu U'Lechol Yisrael Yehelanu Yehelanu U'Lechol Yisrael Yehelanu Yehelanu U'Lechol Yisrael Yehelanu Yehelanu U'Lechol Yisrael. We're going to keep that up there for a special moment coming up as well for you, Milo. That was a warm-up practice, so Mazel Tov, and thank you for that. And now, pardon me?
No.
I haven't forgotten a thing? No. Good. Okay. Although I never have a problem if I forget something. I can forget something. It's happened in my life. But in this case, we are going to proceed, for those who do have the traditional Siddur, on page 174 with the Chetzi Kaddish, prior to calling up our bar mitzvah. Very special, not quite yet. You have to be seated first, and then we call you up in a very fancy way, as is traditional here, I was told, by Susan, none other than Susan Smaller, our ritual chair, to my left, stage left. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'gala ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imiru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lo me'ol maya yitbarach יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשיו בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן. Okay, we have come now to a very special moment here in our prayer service. This is the moment, Milo, when you are going to be called to the Torah. I think I'm going to make a little progression over to that side, so you'll actually, instead of coming to me, you'll be really marching and coming towards the Torah. And Stay there until I give you the gesture. This is the moment of drama. Ya'amod, by the way, the word ya'amod in Hebrew, for those who may not know, it means to stand, to come forward. So that's what we are inviting him to do. In triple fashion. Ya'amod habachur habar mitzvah Meged Yaakov ben Dan v'Charmel maftir chazak. That's the call to your maftir reading. Okay. So his reading is going to be taking place on page 19. Baruch Adonai Morach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Umisham ba'era hi ha'be'er asher amar Adonai l'Moshe esof etam v'tana lahem mayim az yashir et hashira hazot ali be'er anula be'er haparu asarim karu anidibei ha'am Bimchokek b'mishanotam umimi bar matana umi matanach nechaliel umi nechaliel bamot umi bamot Hagai asher b'sdei Moab Rosh hapiska v'nishkafa al pnei Shimon. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. And now we have a special moment of celebration. We're going to save the Siman Tov. There are different parts you can enter or inject our Siman Tov, the song, but we're going to do that after the after the reading from the prophets, which we call the Haftorah. So at this moment, we'd like to call for the honor of raising the Torah, the lifting of the Torah, which we call Hagbah, and then Galila is done by Laura Eldridge, and the Hagbah will be done by Jeremy Weinberg. So,
Please stand, please rise.
and family. Hi, Avital and Tamar. Bezot Torah Asher Sam Moshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Morah Shagilat Yaakov, Morah Shagilat Yaakov, Morah Shagilat Yaakov, Torah Tziva lanu Torah, 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 Kibalanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Kibalanu Moshe. Wow, that was wonderful. We had Irish dancing, foot stomping with us. That was great. So you can be seated at this time. And it is traditional then at this time also to have a reading not only from the Torah scroll as we have just so beautifully heard and done and participated in, but also from the prophets. Now, the prophets are basically, you think of the great prophets. You have Isaiah and Amos. And today we're going to be hearing from the prophet Micah, Micha. And from this prophet, actually, I think Milo is going to be really speaking about some of the thoughts of Micah later on. So I won't steal his thunder on this. And what we're going to do to facilitate this here, there will be the blessing before the reading of the Haftorah, the prophets, and that's found on page 21. And basically, the Haftorah reading in its entirety that Milo is going to do is found on pages 21 and 22 of your booklets. And in order to make life a little easier for Milo, I'm going to bring this. Here's our great migration. I'm going to bring this up for you here, so you can have this here, unless you don't want it. Yeah, I think it'll be a little better. That way you can look up more. I'm going to get a small adjustment here. There we go. Yes, he's going to precede the blessing of the Torah, the Haftorah itself, with the blessing that's on top of page 21. Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem ha'ne'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'b'Moshe avdo u'b'Yisrael amo u'b'nbiei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
V'haya sh'ari Yaakov b'kerev amim rabim k'tamei Adonai kirivim ali Yosef asher lo yikaveh leish v'lo yiyachel libnei Adam v'haya sh'ari Yaakov bagoyim b'kerev amim rabim K'aryeh b'vahamo ya'ar kichfir be'edrei tzon asher imavar ve'ramas ve'taraf ve'ein matzil tarom yadcha al tzarecha v'cho oivecha yikaretu v'haya bayom ahu ne'um Adonai Vichrati Zusecha Mikirbecha V'avati Markivotecha Vichrati Are Artecha Vichrati Cheshafim Meyadecha Umeonanim Lo Yihula Vichrati Fesilecha Umatzebotecha Mikirbecha V'lo tishtachaveh od lema'aseh yadecha v'natashti asherecha mikirbecha v'hishmadti orecha v'asiti be'af ufchema nakam et hagoyim asher lo yishameyu. Shemuna et asher Adonai omer kumri bet harim v'tishmad bana hagva'o kolecha shimu harim et rib Adonai v'ha'etanim mosdei haaretz ki rib Adonai imamo v'im Yisrael yitbakach. Ami me'asiti lecha uma heleticha anevi ki heleticha me'eretz Mitzrayim umibei avadem pediticha ve'eshlach lefanecha et Moshe Aharon u'Miriam. Ami Zacharna Mayat Balach Melech Moav Ume'ana Oto Bilam Ben Beor Minashitim Ad Gilgal Lim'an Da'at Zitkot Adonai Bama Akadem Adonai Yikach Lelohei Marom Hakad Menu Be'olo Bagalim B'nei Shana Hayirtzeh Adonai Be'alfei Elim B'ribavot Nechalei Shaman Ha'itein B'chari Pishi Puri Vitni Chatat Nafshi Higi Lecha Adam Matov Ama Adonai Doresh Mecha Ki imasot nishpat ve'ahavat chesed v'chatnei alechet im Elochecha.
Now that was so beautifully done, Milo. Just before you begin the blessing after the Haftorah, which will let you to take a moment to get in front of you there, we're going to do some logistics here and stage movement behind the scenes here. So this will be the time that some candy will be passed out. We have little packets that will be given to those who want to throw some. But there are going to be some very definite rules that we have with that. So first of all, you don't want to throw it before the allotted time. There's going to be a moment that you will throw that, and I'll tell you when that's going to be. It's going to be after the song of congratulations that Ramona and Matilda, Milo's sisters, are going to be singing the Siman Tovu Mazel Tov, and I'll accompany them a little bit. And then we'll give the cue and specific directions at that time as how you're going to actually throw the candy. But we'll take one step at a time. And so right now, we are going to have the candy passed out. And I will say there's a part for all of the young people here. For those, anyone under 20 years old, for sure. We'll call all of our young people after the candy's thrown to come up to the bima here, and you will be human vacuum cleaners, and you'll be able to clean up all the candy, and I suppose keep as much as you'd like. Momentarily here, what we're going to do, you'll have plenty of time to continue getting the candy. Mila, why don't you start singing the blessing now after the Haftorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Tor kol haolamim Tzadik bechol hadarot Ha'el ha'ne'eman Ha'omer ve'oseh Hamdaber kayem Shechol devarav emet v'tzedek Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim divarecha, v'davar echad midvarecha, achor lo yashuv reikam, ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman atah, baruch atah Adonai. האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון, כי היא בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני, משמח ציון בבניך. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו, באליהו הנביא עבדך, ומלכות בית דוד משכך. במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסו לא ישב זר, ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו. כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. No, not yet. We're going to, because we have to do the Siman Tov first, right? So, you're going to have a seat right over there, Milo. What? Oh, you're leading the Siman Tov with your sisters. Okay. I see. Okay, so do you want to join them on guitar too? Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to call upon basically Milo here, and then his wonderful, beautiful sisters, Ramona and Matilda, to come up. Oh, okay, so Milo's just going to be doing it here. Okay. So we should, in this case, we're going to modify it then a little bit, because it would be a little strange if you're singing the Siman Tov for himself, right? You're all singing it. Okay. So we'll do this first. Okay. Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov. Here we go. Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Again. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. David and Angela, come up. Angela, come on up. David, come on up. Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Again. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Now we have instructions for throwing the candy. The candy, we'll have you go over there on that side. The candy is to be thrown on that side. It's not designed for hitting rabbis or ruining rabbis' guitars. Okay? And so I'm going to be standing there. Now, we recommend here that underhand and no fastballs. So underhand and no fastballs. We'll give you the cue. 1, 2, 3. confer with you on some chords. Yes. Okay, so Milo, at this point then, I want to thank all of our young people for doing such a great job of being human vacuum cleaners. That was just great. That was really, really good. Yes, and yes, oh, thank you. Yes, and Rabbi Schneer mentioned to me that he always invites the children to share the candy with the parents, because at that point it's a mitzvah, you're sharing. And the very act of sharing is a mitzvah itself. So we'll invite you to do that. And it is customary for the bar or bat mitzvah to share some words of Torah learning, things that they have learned and gleaned from their studies, and also in so many ways really applying it to what the meaning of this day is for them. The meaning of this day of bar mitzvah is to them and for their lives. And so Milo has very carefully and diligently crafted some words and thoughts on this subject for us. And so at this time, without further ado, we will call upon Milo to share some thoughts. Actually, I went off script. You get a break. We're going to give you... You want to go ahead and do it now? Okay, we're going to go ahead and do it now then for us. So, go ahead and share your thoughts right now then.
Hi there. I know for some of you that sitting and listening to a language you may not understand may be a bit unclear, but if you look at the translation, you may find intriguing elements such as a copper snake that can cure one snake bite if they look at it, and a talking donkey that refuses to cooperate, not unlike to a certain Eddie Murphy voice character. My Torah portion is Chukat Balak, and while it contains many thought-provoking themes, it cannot compare to my Haftarah. It has many uplifting messages, including the famous lines, to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God, which, if you didn't know, is etched in stone on the synagogue where my grandmother grew up. This section of Haftarah is from the teachings of the prophet Micah, and it starts by talking about how Jews are like dew in the morning. They're everywhere, from San Francisco to Nashville to Boston. They're resilient, or as Micah put it, we have strength among nations. Micah is also asked how Jewish converts should worship God, and is given ways such as, shall I approach with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Would God be pleased with thousands of rams, with myriads of streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for my sins? He replies that instead of just showing that you have wealth, you should strive to be kind, to be grateful, and to be humble. I am sure most of us here have not sacrificed baby cows, but have done a good deed, and that is showing how true Micah's words are. I am not saying that rituals are not useful, but rituals that involve harming other living things should be kept at arm's length and be less hurtful. Now, I hope the next time you go to a bar or bat or b or b'nai mitzvot, you follow along and comprehend what the words mean. Now, I understand all of us here have different ways to interpret Judaism or any religion that we connect to, but I would like for you to remember that we are one big community, and that in addition to getting a men's prize in Hebrew school, kind actions are the best way to embody what it signifies to be a good person and a good Jew. Lastly, I would like to thank my parents for helping me out, Maura Andrea for being a great tutor, Dory, Maura Elise, Tracy, and Brenda for all being great Sunday school teachers, my grandparents and family for supporting me, Rabbi David Barnett for helping me out and teaching me, Rabbi David Schneer for helping lead the service, and everyone who came to see me from all over the world, including Germany.
Now, At this time, I'd like to call upon Dana and Carlos to share some reflections with you, Milo. So you can just stay right over here. I suggest you'll just sort of stand right here.
All right. A lot of love in here. This is very nice. Appreciate this. Okay, so no song tonight, Milo. This is just straight boring stuff, right? Okay. So there's always been something special about Milo. His awareness, his thoughtfulness, and his ability to soak up information. Somehow, I was allowed to carry him to the newborn nursery mere minutes after he was born, and he was startlingly alert. Before becoming parents, Dana and I both worked with children in a professional capacity. Yet, Milo continually surprised us with how thoughtful, inquisitive, curious, and sponge-like his brain is. Anyone who knows Milo or has talked to him for more than about 30 seconds knows he loves knowledge, facts, reading, facts, and he loves to tell you all about them. For example, at his 18-month well child check, he told our impressed pediatrician all about trapezoids. The next year, he told her the names of all 50 states. And he quickly became a legitimate help with crossword puzzles. Milo, what is the smallest island nation in the world? 5 letters? When he was in 4th grade, he represented his class in the school-wide National Geographic Geography Bee. And we told a friend that Milo won the whole thing. He responded, "That is the least surprising thing I have ever heard." As it turns out, the boy got most of these facts because he likes to read and would read anything. He ripped through the Magic Treehouse, Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, Who Was, Who Is series repeatedly. But books are not enough. He reads the newspaper, the New Yorker, and even any pamphlet that he comes across. Want to know more about ADHD? Want to learn about geriatric care? How about the best ways to treat diabetes? Yep, Milo does. But it was not just reading and telling facts that he enjoyed. He also demonstrated a curious and inquisitive thought process that could draw you into a casual discussion or a somewhat lively debate. At age 4, why do I have to wear underwear to school versus social and cultural constructs? At age 7, why do I have to write a paragraph about my weekend when 4 words will do the trick versus rhetoric and education? But the cool thing is he started to work these debates out on his own, straddling a fine line between social conformity and genuine independence. For his weekend writing assignment, he simply wrote the same word 57 times in a row in order to meet the word limit for a weekend paragraph. And it worked. Do you remember what grade you got on that? 100. Yeah, I got 100 on it. So Milo has used these skills to learn from his bar mitzvah study, from Hebrew school, from his congregation, and his family and friends. He's learning to glean what is both interesting and also what is important. He shows care for others and demonstrates responsibility to himself and to those around him. He notices what others do for him and has started to do for himself and for others in a mature and a sincere way. He gets up every morning, makes his own lunch, and he studied his Torah portion and prayers without prompting even one time. He even organized and managed his umpiring job on his own this year. He also jumps in to help carry grandparents' bags, thanks adults for giving him rides and making him meals, can occasionally help his sisters, and genuinely cares about other people's lives, interests, and yes, even their facts. This year, Milo has grown to embody the essence and meaning of the bar mitzvah as I have come to understand it and to learn about it from him. He seems to both understand and demonstrate actions that show moral responsibility and the potential to be a good, thoughtful leader and a mensch. Milo, your mother and I are incredibly proud of your hard work and dedication and your accomplishments. We love you so much. Even more than the number of career triples by Red Sox legend Harry Hooper, 130.
Milo, it is indeed a pleasure to be with you here as your rabbi in our as your rabbi at this time in the congregation. You have certainly excelled today in sharing with us the journey of your learning. And that's so significant and so special. And you come from a family of high accomplishers as well. And it's not by accident that you have this desire for knowledge and thirst for learning. One of the joys of my time here as a rabbi was the Shabbat that your grandparents came, Ruth and Mark. And we had a wonderful discussion after services. And I learned from your grandfather, Mark, how in his own very special and humble way, which is a virtue in itself, which is found in your Torah. We'll come back to that in just a minute. But he was one of the key researchers in the knowledge quest to uncover many years ago the human genome, which, as you know, sequences so much important material for the continuity of life and hopefully for the improvement of lives as that project now goes forward in its second and third and other iterations that your grandfather also alluded to in our conversation. He was one of the pioneers. There is a tradition and a saying in our tradition that when you look at the accomplishments of an individual, that can be very special. But we have to recognize where they come from, where you come from. And there is the expression in our tradition that our own learning would not take place were it not for the fact that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And your family has giants. Both your grandparents, Mark and Ruth. Your mom works as a doctor in a very challenging and official capacity and loving capacity in medical care, end stage of life situations, and all other kinds of emergencies where decisions have to be made, and they're made with wisdom and compassion at the same time. And I like so much what you said in your Haftorah, in your analysis of the speech. Yes, God wants us to do rituals, and those are very important. But what's the purpose of them? The purpose of them is to guide us towards good deeds. And the famous line that you quoted from Micah is really so central. You know, as we had earlier, you chanted the Shema beautifully. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. That's maybe a one-sentence formulation. And then inevitably the rabbis will go to the statement of Micah. What is required of you? To love justice, or to do justice, aseh mishpat, right? You perform acts of justice, but that is also tempered by mercy. To love mercy. So you have justice, and that's a very strong, important pillar. If you don't have justice, you cannot have a functioning society. You have anarchy, you have chaos, you have pain. But it has to be tempered at the same time with mercy, right? And what is combined with all of them is what you see exemplified by your family life around you. And that's walking with a sense of dignity, but also humility at the same time. And that's what you bring to it. And you bring that in your own persona. In our work together, you've always been polite and appreciative. And you're able to learn, and you follow instructions. And that's wonderful, because in so many ways, at various stages in our life, perhaps our entire lives, we're all students. We're all learning new things. And so it's very special that I think within yourself, you really exemplify so many of those wonderful qualities. And so in light of that, we have some special gifts that we're going to give to you today. We're going to uncover the magic compartment here, and we're going to take some things out. And so I'm not going to make all the presentations. In a little while, we're going to call upon our congregational president, Michael Katz, sitting behind here, to make some presentations and share some thoughts with you. But it's my honor this time to give you and to present to you this certificate of Bar Mitzvah to Milo Guyer-Osborne. Megid Yaakov ben Dana b'Charmel, and it says it's been signed by myself and our president, Michael Katz, and it has the Jewish date, because we have a Jewish date, the 12th of Tammuz, 5783, which corresponds to today's civil date, July 1st, 2023. And I know that as we present you this, we're going to present it to you in the official way. So I don't know if you've ever done this before. So what I'm going to ask you to very, very lightly take that side and just give a little gentle pull. Don't rip it, just a little tiny gentle pull. Good, good. So that is called Mashicha. And now you have acquired this. And so you actually have ownership of this certificate there now. It's been presented to you. And we hope that it will be simply a milestone, certainly not the end and culmination of learning, merely a step along the way. And the congregation will look forward to your heightened participation in many other aspects of our liturgy going forward. Maybe on Rosh Hashanah, we have some adults here who read from the Torah on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. You'll be able to join with that group, as will some of our other Bar and Bat Mitzvah students sitting in this room here right now. And that is every rabbi's hope. So at this time, I'm going to call upon Michael Katz, our congregation president, to come and share some further thoughts and reflections with you.
Thank you, Rabbi. You're welcome. Milo, I'm going to keep my comments brief. It's my pleasure. First of all, it was my pleasure to sit and hear you read Torah and the Haftarah. Beautiful job. I really do want to congratulate you. And just say it's been a pleasure to get to know you this year. Before I was president, I didn't have that chance for many of the B'nai Mitzvah students that came before you. But you're one that was always here, and it was good to see you. Great to interact with you. Pleasure. It's my pleasure as well to present you with a copy of Eitz Chaim, since you like to read. And in terms of following tradition, it's all right here. Keep track of this. I don't know if you'll do this. I could tell you what I was presented with one of these. I put it away and didn't look at it for a very long time, but I did eventually come back to it. So please keep that, cherish it. Thank you again for being who you are. At this time, I guess I'd like to call on Stephen Shapiro to give you a gift that's traditional from him in honor of his parents and Elaine Shapiro's parents.
First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody. People who are part of the congregation, people not, friends, enemies, anybody that came today is wonderful. And I want to welcome, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher it, I'm sorry, Rabbi Schneerer. Welcome to the congregation also. Thank you for coming. Come over here, Milo. I'm not going to bite you. Not yet. Last week when we were here, and you went to the Torah, and we did all the prayers, I said, the kid's got it. He's got it. I don't have to worry about anything. And you did it. Fabulous. What I give is a tzedakah box, which tzedakah means charity. However, in your case, I don't even need to explain. The whole family knows what charity is and how you deal with people and your ability to comprehend what it means. I also know everybody's hungry. So I'm going to make it nice and short and present this to you. I present it from my wife's family, Pearl and Abe Kozlov, and my parents, Evelyn and Sidney Shapiro. So use it and good, and just remember the temple can always use some money, okay? Is it okay? Can I leave? Oh.
That's a call.
One last. A gift from the Men's Club. Andrew Scholes, past president, is coming for that.
Milo, on behalf of the Men's Club, every year, every time there's a bar mitzvah for a boy, the Men's Club presents a gift. And it's traditional, it's a Kiddush cup. And it's used especially on Shabbat, Friday evening, when we welcome in Shabbat. And because Shabbat, it should be a day of rest and a day of observance, like everybody's here today to observe Shabbat with us. Even though you might observe it on a Sunday, in Jewish religion, we observe it on a Saturday, and we start it the evening before. So we hope that you will continue the tradition of observing Shabbat as you grow up, and continue it on to your family, if you have the family going on, as everybody hopes. So, and continue the Jewish tradition going forward. So, on behalf of the Men's Club of Temple Torat Yisrael, congratulations, Mazel Tov, and you did a fantastic job. So, and you should be very proud, and I know your parents are very proud, and the grandparents, and everybody else here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andy. Now, traditionally at this point, there are some blessings that the family shares. And since this is such a custom service, we are going to have the Shechianu blessing at the conclusion of our service here today. But there is one special blessing that we'll now share with Milo. And it's the ancient blessings that the high priest would bless for the Jewish people. The concept of this blessing that was done by Aaron, the priestly benediction, was that it was not Aaron himself who was really blessing the people. It was really God blessing the people using the functionality, using the medium, the service of Aaron, the high priest. And so I'm going to chant that blessing for you here today. And we're going to, in order to do so, we're going to invite the entire congregation, please, to rise at this time. And then actually we'll have you remain standing, because then we're going to continue with the recessional part of our service and proceed from there. So come right over here as we walk around. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause the light of his countenance to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift his countenance unto you and grant you peace and well-being and all blessings. And we could say, Amen. And now we are going to continue with the recessional. And at this time, we're going to come right over here. I want to take off, so it's going to be easier for you to carry this. We're just going to put this here for the moment, and we'll take this up here, and then I'll do this from the other side. Let me hand you the Torah right here now. So this time, what Milo is going to do, if you're relieved already, a little bit? Okay, good. So you're going to go down the left-hand side. The left-hand side this time, and then circle around. Okay, and you'll circle right down there through the Cohen family, right down back up to the bima. Okay? And as before you go, just before you go there, what we're going to do is we're going to ask those who will be opening the ark to come forward and get ready so that they'll be here in place and to open the ark here for us at this time. Then for the return of this scroll, it's going to be Michael, how do we say it, Michael Rice, and Barbara Field. Okay, so you can just stand here. I'll give you the cue when you open it, but not quite yet. And at this time, then, we'll continue. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai. Don't go quite yet. Ki niskav shemo levado, hodu l'aleretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tila lechol chasidav, livnei Yisrael, am krovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Now you can start walking around. Mizmor David, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hir'im, Adonai al hamayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayeshaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, V'yarkedem kemo egel Lebanon, V'sirion kemo ven remim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, V'yachasof yarot, Uveheichalo kulo omer kavod, Adonai lemabul yashav, V'yeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. And if you can open the ark for us at this time, you'll have to hold each of the panels. So why don't you come right up here, and you can come over here and actually hand me the Torah. I'll put those on in a minute. Face the ark the whole time. Adonai seated. And now we're going to have another special treat here. So we're going to continue. Milo, you can come right over here next to Rabbi Schneier. And we're going to continue on page 25. Page 25 in your prayer booklets there with the singing of Ein Kelohenu. And so are you going to accompany him on that? Yes. Okay, great. So there it is right there. Page 25, Ein Kelohenu.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi
Thank you, Rabbi Schneider and Milo. We'll invite everyone to stand now as we continue in your prayer book, the Aleinu prayer, page 26. And so we'll face the ark. Aleinu, you in here. I'll tell you what. We'll face the ark. And Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol l'tzeh l'lav l'elsev l'reishi. So you get the mic.
Shelo asanu kiryei haratzo v'lo samanu k'mishpacho adama. Shelo melkeinu kahem v'kol aleinu kechol hamonam v'nachnu rim u'mishachachim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamayim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shechuno Teshamayim Beyoser Haaretz U'moshav V'Paro B'Shamayim Imaho V'Yaminatizo U'Chinatizo B'Govei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Eino El Memokeinu Efesulato Kakatu B'Torato Midadayo Hashavota Elevabecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Imao V'Yaharetz Mitachat Einod Minod.
Adonai Eloheinu lirot me'ara v'taver zecha v'likano nikretu v'tekan olam ha'malchut shaddai v'chadonai v'tzah. Just come in right now.
Karatu b'toratecha Adonai imoch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai melech kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
And please be seated at this time. You can have a seat. Excuse me. At this time, it is traditional in the Jewish tradition, as I sort of gave a little bit of an indication towards the beginning of our services. It's a time where we remember and honor those who have come before us, those who are no longer physically in our midst, but nonetheless part of our beings, our inner beings, our most special selves, by virtue of the legacy that we have inherited from those who have come before us. And so, for the Yortzeit list for this Shabbat, we would like to read the following names, and then at the conclusion of the list that I read, if there are any others that we would add, like we did for those who are ill, we'll give you the opportunity to do so. Cecil Charles Abbottson, father of Suzanne Abbottson. Edwin Anton, father of Louis Anton, Frank Anton, and Ellen Golden. Hyman Blasbalg, father of Arnold Blasbalg. Morris Blazer, William Bochar, father of David Bochar. Sanford Cotton, father of Beth Salk. Frances Dress, mother of Esther Karp. Lillian C. Gilstein, mother of Andrew Gilstein and Barry Gilstein. Frank Goldman, father of Herman H. Goldman. Leonard Yale Goldman, father of Stephen Goldman. Evelyn Scholes Kagan, aunt of Andrew G. Scholes, Richard Scholes, Stephen Scholes, and David Scholes. And former Kirshner, father of Sophia Tonkover. David Cotlin, relative of Helen Davis. Irving Kovich, Jacob Pomeraniak, stepfather of Susan Smoller. Jeanette Pomeraniak, mother of Susan Smoller. Jocelyn Joss Ross, father of Lynn Field. Jack Silver, uncle of Ellen Golden. Samuel Blake Steiner, grandson of Edward and Judith Steiner. Senda Weinblatt, David Weiner, father of Laura Steele. And we remember now families who have recently had losses, who are in what we call the Shaloshim period, the 30-day period following the passing of beloved family members. Zachary Weintraub, father of Melissa Weintraub Peza. Zita E. Kaplan, mother of Alan Kaplan. And Miriam M. Schindler, mother of Lori Goldman. Are there any other names that we should add to our Yortzeit list then for this Shabbat? Any others to add? Yes.
Peter Penny Tillman.
Okay, thank you so much, Peter Penny Tillman. Okay, yes. Thank you so much, Maury Bornheim. I think there are some others here. Yes, okay. Thank you.
John Cooper.
Thank you. And there was one on this side, I thought. There was another one over here. Yes.
Well, I wanted to add my sister, my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, all of my cousins, all of whom I wish were here.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Yes.
Dorothy Christie, Mariamanta Herrera Gerandi, and Donald G. Osborne.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Any others? Let's go by side now. This side. Anyone else on this side? Yes, on this side then.
Alexei Olshenko.
Thank you. Thank you. And then back there again. Yes. Okay, thank you. Any others? Okay. Thank you. Yes, and then one more. Thank you. Thank you. Any others? In that event, we would like to invite you, those who are reciting Kaddish. By the way, I always, when I am in the minyan, in honor of those who did unfortunately perish in the Holocaust, who are no longer able to, I'm always saying Kaddish for those as well. So I have a feeling we echo on that as well. On page 27, then, I slow it down so that everyone can say these words that, as we alluded to earlier in our service, have been hallowed by at least 2,000 years of Jewish tradition. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemi Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lemei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God grant comfort to all of us who mourn, and may the memory of those for whom we mourn remain among us as a loving, living, and inspiring benediction. And we can say, Amen. And as we're approaching a conclusion here of our service, I'd like to call upon, first of all, I want to thank Rabbi Schneier for being such a special and participatory and dignified addition to our service here today. It's really been a joy. We never had to, we never had the opportunity to meet before today, and it's really been a joy to encounter you here and to share this service with you and to feel your presence. And I know why you've been so special to the family here throughout these many, we're going to say, not just years, decades.
I just want to thank you for your graciousness and for your welcoming, and also to wish you good luck.
Thank you.
As you go on your way.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And so, Rabbi Schneier and Milo, we call upon you to come forward here and lead us in the Adon Olam. And maybe I'll join them again on tambourine or something. We'll see.
It's the traditional.
I think you have two different versions. I think he wants to do Adon. I think he wants to do Adon Olam.
Oh, that one.
That one.
Okay. 1, 2, ready.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, V'nasa, V'nasa Kol,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechechianu v'kiyamanu v'hidianu l'azman hazeh.
Beautiful, Carlos. That was tremendous.
We give thanks for the wondrous privilege of seeing Milo grow day by day, week by week, and year by year. For the health and strength you have given him, for the mind and spirit with which you endowed him, for his ability to elicit and return love. For all these precious gifts, we thank you. Join me. Watch over him on this special day and every day.
Grant him a growing understanding of the true significance of this occasion and a deepening loyalty to everything that it represents. May the teachings of our heritage guide him throughout life, and may he lead a life worthy of your teachings. Amen. So, Milo, we're going to invite you. You can go over and give a hug to your folks there, because I know they would enjoy that. Yes, Milo, I'll tell you what. I know something to be very true, because I just saw it on your mom's face and your dad's face. They've been waiting 13 years for this moment. So if you ever have something that's difficult that takes a little patience, just think that your folks waited 13 years for this moment. Okay? Let's bring you right over here. And what we